Okay, so this video is going to be a little bit different than the others. Usually when I get a question, I just answer it, put it up, and there you go. But this one, I want to do it a little bit differently. We're looking at this identity, okay, or this fact. Okay, the limit as x approaches 0, sine x over x equals 1, okay? So, there are a few things that I want to point out to you, okay? X and x are the same thing, okay? So, if we wrote this without the x's, all right? As long as you got the same thing in here, okay, then it's still 1, okay? So it doesn't have to be x, right? So in other words, you know, sine of, I don't know, anything. I can put a star in here, okay? I don't know what a star represents, but as long as star and star are the same thing, okay, this will work. This is 1. Also, you know, there's something special about a fraction that's equal to 1, okay? And that special property that a fraction that's equal to 1 leads us to this question. What is this? I'd like for you to explore these things and find the answers to these, okay? Now, one of the things that they do in the book is they play with this stuff, okay? So here we have sine, and then we have 5x, and then on the bottom here we have 3x, okay? So they're not the same, right? So we can't say that it's 1, okay? But there's another way that we can look at this, okay? You see this 3 on the bottom here? Now this 5 here is part of the argument of a sine function, okay? So this is some kind of an angle in the unit circle, right? If you're taking the sine of something, that has to be a theta, an angle inside the unit circle, okay? So this is 5 times something that represents that angle. But this down here, this is 3x, okay? So this is the same thing. We can rewrite this. We can get rid of this 3 down here. We don't actually need that parenthesis, okay? And we can write this as 1/3 times this, right? When we multiply these fractions, we're just going to multiply straight across, okay? But so, as x is approaching 0, so x is moving, right? X is a moving target. X is approaching 0. Well, so this is changing and this is changing because x is moving. But what is happening to this 1/3? 1/3 is 1/3. When x is approaching 0, or whatever x is approaching, doesn't really matter. 1/3 is always 1/3. So 1/3 is not really part of this limit, okay? So what we can do is, and this is a very important property of limits and derivatives, which are the type of limit, is we can pull this 1/3 out. And so you might say, well, okay, that's good, but look, we still have something different. Here we have a 5x, and here we have an x, right? Okay, well, if I can pull constant multiples out of limits, then look, I can put a 5 in here, right? So now I have multiplied this thing by 1/5 inside the limit, and then I can put a 5 out here. Because I can do exactly what I did with the 1/3 with this 1/5, right? I can pull the 1/5 out, the 5s will cancel, I'll get the 1/3, I can move the 1/3 back in, and I'll end up with the problem exactly the way it was stated to start with. Now, notice that I have the limit as x approaches 0 of sine of something over the same thing. And this limit right here is 1, right? And it's being multiplied by 5/3, so the answer is 5/3. So this little identity, limit as x approaches 0, sine x over x is equal to 1. It's interesting. It's fun to play with, and there's some conceptual content here. So play with this. they did give you some problems to work out, and those are good problems. So if you're really stuck on them and you have any questions, send me an email.